Amen. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah. Tonight, what we want to express is what is the heartbeat of worship, as this event is so eloquently called. What is worship? Why are we here? We're getting ready to go into so many different areas of the world. We just heard the heartbeat of worship from a style that was derived from the culture of the Americans. We're getting ready to go into some of the music that was taken from the Cubans, from Ireland, from India, from the Middle East. But why are we doing this today? And I want to express to you today that complacency and tradition has bound what worship is. Many of our ancestors, from when they immigrated to this country, they weren't allowed to bring their instruments across the borders. So they used what they had. Many of us that come from maybe the African continent, all we had when we were working on plantations were washboards, clay pots. Many of the Cubans, all they had was the animal skins that they could make drums with. And they took these drums and these washboards and these sticks and these clay pots, and they took what was in their heart and offered it unto God. Whatever they had, they played rhythms, they played melodies, they sang words. And we've taken, out of complacency and out of tradition, we've taken these things and made them into a form. And we said, that's what worship is. The washboard, it has to be the drums, it has to be this sound, that's worship. And when we hear many other things, we say, that's not worship because that's not what I'm used to. But see, if many of them could come back today, they would say, this is not what I wanted. When I was playing on the washboard, when I was picking cotton, when I was raising goats, and I was crying unto God on the guitar that I made from corn strings, I never intended for you to say that this is it. This is what came out of my heart. And you're supposed to take it, and you're supposed to use your creativity and make more to it. But what we did was we took their creativity and we put it into the box in our denominations, and we say, well, this is ours. This is black gospel. If you're black, this is your gospel. If you're white, this is your southern gospel. If you're Cuban, it's this. If you're this denomination, this is how loud it should be. If you're this denomination, this is how loud it should be. If you have this accent, you're ignorant. We don't want to hear you. But what we want to do tonight, we want to get out of the box. We want to get out of that form, and we want to embrace creativity again. You see, music comes from the drums. Music comes from the guitar. But worship comes from out of the heart. You might say, well, I don't play an instrument, so does that mean that I can't worship? But let me tell you, if worship comes from the heart, if you're in the room by yourself, if you cry out unto God, let your heartbeat be the percussion. Let your words and your screaming out to God be the sweet, sweet melody that rings into his ear. So we're asking you tonight not to be afraid, to get out of your box. If it's something you never listened or you've never heard before, we ask you not to hear the rhythms, but to hear the heartbeat and to hear the motive. Do not be fearful, but get out of your box and embrace what God is going to do and feel the heartbeat of worship.